My name is Himadri Joshi. I'm a product manager here at Interakt. So to start things off, WhatsApp is at the forefront of conversational commerce, and this is something that all of us are aware about. The numbers speak for themselves. We have around 2 billion users globally, 390 million plus users in India, and around 50 million plus businesses who are using WhatsApp globally. The importance of these numbers mean that as far as user heat map or user acquisition goes, WhatsApp has already covered a lot of ground. So your users are already on WhatsApp. That's a statement that is pretty much true in case of WhatsApp being used by customers as of today. And what makes it more unique, apart from a lot of people using it, is the fact that it has high delivery rate. It is extremely reliable. Uh, you wouldn't find a scenario where you've sent a WhatsApp message and you would doubt whether it gets delivered to the person or not. It has very high readability. What we found is around 80% of businesses, the message is sent by them, which is either it could be a product update, it could be a shipping update, it could be an offer update or a marketing campaign, anything of that sort. It gets read within the first 5 minutes of it being sent to the customer. And there's a very high chance of customers actually replying back to WhatsApp because they're already using it. It has a high readability rate. And then to top it all off, it's available in 60 plus languages across 180 plus countries. So makes it really easy for users to use and consume WhatsApp either for their personal conversations or while talking to a business. Now, all these numbers point to the simple fact that if you're a business who wants to converse with their customers, uh, it pretty much makes sense for you to use WhatsApp, right? But what WhatsApp solution do you go for? Now, in the market today, there are three primarily types of WhatsApp solution that exist. The first being the ones which we use for our personal communication. The second being the WhatsApp Business app, wherein you just download the uh, WhatsApp app from Play Store and then convert it into a business app, and then you get a couple of basic automations such as out of office and uh, welcome message, and it says in your profile that hey, this is a business account that you're talking to, but it also has limitations in terms of how many people you can talk to, uh, you know what kind of marketing messages you can send. uh, Primarily it is all going to be manual and all of those things, but it is indeed a stepping stone for a very small business, especially when your volumes are not high. Then comes the WhatsApp Business APIs, where if your volumes are high, if you want to send automated notifications, if you want to have advanced automations, and all of this is something that Interact offers. If you want to have, send template messages, if you want an official WhatsApp business account sort of thing for your account, which is, you get a green tick across your business name, all of that comes along with WhatsApp Business APIs, right? So the first foremost thing for you is to deciding which WhatsApp solution works for you basis your needs. Once you decide that, the next thing that you do is find out whether you are in alignment with what is WhatsApp's compliance policy. Now, WhatsApp, keeps on revisiting these most of these, compliance policy related line items where they're saying that hey, this business is allowed to use WhatsApp Business APIs, this business is not, and this is something which is very internal to WhatsApp. They keep on rejigging and updating this. As of today, this is the list. So as far as if you're someone who's into medical businesses or selling medicines, or someone who's you know uh, sharing any downloadable content in form of digital subscription or internet streaming services and those sort of things, you're not allowed as far as WhatsApp Business compliant goes. If you want to check whether your business falls under this compliance policy or not, because these are just some examples, you can also refer to whatsapp.com/policy/compliance slash commerce policy, and look at up the list and see if which whether you're actually allowed or not. And Akansha will be sharing the link in the chat section for all of you to have a look at that as well. Now you've decided WhatsApp is the solution you want to go for. You've decided what kind of WhatsApp solution you want to use. You've also decided and pretty much concluded that whether your business is part of the compliance policy or not. Now, how do you get started? Now, three simple steps. The first steps is getting a verified Facebook Business Manager. When you want to go for the verification, you have to submit a couple of documentation, which is with respect to your GST certificate, businessman account, credit reports. Again, these are very standard prerequisites, standard SOPs that have been issued from WhatsApp's or Facebook's end, which you need to complete. If you want to get started with this, you don't know where to go, how do you apply for it, reach out to our team, they'll help you with this. The next step, once you have a Facebook Business Manager verified, is a business phone number, because of course you want to have a phone number where people are actually going to reach out to you, right? This is a business phone number that in fact gets displayed across your WhatsApp account when it gets live, right? So that's the next thing that you want to get. And the third thing, of course, is signing up with a BSP like Interakt, which will help you use these WhatsApp business APIs for your business. And how it helps you use, what it offers, all of that is something that I'll be covering in a few minutes. Now, what is Interakt, right? It's a geohaptic company. We're part of the geohaptic group. It's a product which sort of brings CRM, marketing, automation, and campaigns all into one. And all of this onto WhatsApp. So if you're on WhatsApp, if you want to send marketing notifications, if you're on WhatsApp, you want to send order updates or your product update notifications. If you're on WhatsApp, you want to manage your customers who are coming in, speaking to you on your WhatsApp. If you are on WhatsApp, you want to see what kind of time and how much time your uh, agents, so as to say, are spending talking to customers and all of that data. All the things that you do in relation with your customers on WhatsApp, Interact helps you do that. And it does not do all of this in isolation. We offer a very robust integration set. We've got Shopify, we connect with WooCommerce, Magento, Facebook Leads, Zoho CRM, Freshdesk, Google Sheets, and if the one of these is not in the list that we follow, we'll either do an integration via Zapier or an Integromat, right? As long as you have APIs available, we can definitely do that. So it does not work in isolation. It connects with your systems and your ecosystem to ensure that all of this is connected, and it helps you in speaking to your customers on WhatsApp. A quick glance on where we are on Interakt as of today. We have close to 500 plus. In fact, I'd rather say we have close to around 600 plus customers on board. And the numbers increase as we talk. We have around 5 million upwards conversations that have happened, 15 plus integration that I spoke about. Completely free to try out. So, you can just sign up for a free trial. You don't need any credit card details. For the first 14 days of free trial that you get every feature of the product, starting from the highest amount of automation that we have to offer today, to the deep analytics, to the most newly launched conversational commerce piece, and wherein you can introduce catalogs and products, which is something that I'll cover in a bit on the product. And these are some of the customers that are using currently Interact. Just a quick glance at the folks who are using us. All right, so now on Interact, I'm not going to go and read these slides. So what I'll just go ahead now and go on to the product demo itself. The demo that I have in place today is of our web version of the product. There are both versions of the product that exist as of today. So you've got the mobile app, wherein both Android and iOS, you can look them up on Play Store and App Store. Just look for Interact and you'll be able to download the app. Just one call out over here. If you download our mobile app as of today, you can't do a sign up via mobile app. Okay, so you first have to either sign up on the website or connect with our team members. I mean, it's all self-serve, but you still have to sign up on a web version of the product. And once you've signed up, only those folks will be able to use the app. So if you just want to try it out, please go ahead and do that. If you are a Shopify store owner who wants to leverage WhatsApp and has his website on Shopify, you can also try out Interact on Shopify App Store. So just go to Shopify, go to their app store, just type in Interact, and you'll be able to try our app and see what kind of integration and what stuff we do with Shopify. And that is something, again, that I'll be speaking about as we go along, right? All right. I'll just quickly check from the things that I've already covered. If there's any question that, okay. All right. Puneet, can you hear me now? I'll try to be a bit loud. There are questions with respect to integration. Uh, yes, Prateek. So you've asked how can we integrate Interact with Magento 2? Struggling with this since last February. You can, Prateek. It's very. We have a very step-by-step format for it. I'd recommend you can definitely reach out to our team and they'll help you with this. I don't know where you're stuck, but please do reach out and we'll help you. Again, just for everyone's reference, I'd highly recommend to share and post questions in the Q&A. I'll come to them in a while, but I'm just going to clear out the chat section. I recommend posting questions in the Q&A section. Thanks a lot. All right. Okay, so this is one question. All right, so now let me go to the product itself. So this is the web version of the product. Okay. Uh, what we have Interakt is it's divided into specific modules, and each module has a purpose on its own, of course. The first module that I want to cover is the inbox module. Now, this one, the first one, which is the one that you have opened, it's a very basic ancillary module where you get to see the details associated with your account. So once you've signed up, if you want to see what is your Facebook Business Manager ID, what is your WhatsApp number, all those details, you get to see this. This is primarily used for folks who've just signed up on the product. Once you've signed up, you don't really need to go back to this section because you already are aware what is your business manager ID and your WhatsApp number. So it doesn't really help for you to go back there. Uh, for folks who are just starting out, the reason it helps is lets you know where you are in the process, right? Is your business manager verified now? Have you gotten a number? What is happening with it? Which step are you in? Is there an error that is being thrown? So all of that while you're signing up for the product, which step are you on, is something that this kind of helps you understand. All right, now this is the first and foremost section of the product, very important, which is the inbox section. This is where all the conversations are happening, right? uh, Now the way it is designed is, on the inbox, every conversation, every message that you do with your customer can be divided into three types, which is an all, you, and unassigned. All basically refers to conversations that include everyone in your team. So irrespective of whom the chat is assigned to or the conversation is happening with, which is if you're a team of 5 folks and all those 5 folks are currently addressing customer answers and queries, all those chats by everyone will be shown in the all view. So you see Shravani over here, you see Sanjeevta from my team, right? You see all of these guys. So there are these different names, and everyone's chat is something that I can see right now, which is the all view. The next view is you, which is conversations that are only specific to me and the conversations that have only been assigned to me, right? So, for example, this chat we have, I mean, this is basically me, but yeah, there's another. So there's a chat. I can see the customer name Himadri. I can see that it has been assigned to me. Uh, right? And then the next part is opening and closing a conversation, which basically means is once I've spoken to a customer. So let's say this guy reached out to me, he asked me a question, and once I've addressed that question, what I want to do is remove him from my queue. And by removing, I basically mean is if I have like 50 chats, I don't want to be now looking at this guy or having him in my open conversation list because I want to focus on the other chats. So the funda is pretty simple. Once you've answered your customer's query, you just go ahead and click on close chat and it will close the chat. So then you'll be able to see all your closed chats that you've done in the past. Of course, closing a chat does not mean that the chat cannot be reopened. Of course, it can be opened again. Two ways to do that. One, if I myself reach out to this customer again saying that, hey, this is something I remembered, I can do that. It will automatically open the chat. Another way is if the customer comes back and asks me something, irrespective of whenever he wants to, the chat will get opened again and it will start showing in my open queue. right? That's number two. You can also sort these charts, of course, pretty much ancillary by newest and oldest with respect to when they were received. And then you've got these filters. Now, what filters will do is it will help you sort all of this basis the kind of information you want from it. Now, I said a lot of things. What it basically means is if I use a filter, I can filter out all my conversations basis whom the chat is assigned to and what kind of conversation label is attached to them. Okay. Now, before this, I think it would make sense to explain what conversation label is. Conversation label basically means that, let's say, you are currently having a chat, right, with any of a customer, and you want to give some background to the chat. So let's say a customer has reached out to you for a customer query, or customer has reached out to you for a sales support, a customer has reached out to you for a complaint. It could be anything. What the label allows you to do is whatever the customer is currently talking about, you put a label to it. And what it helps is in segregating all these conversations based on labels. So as a user, as an Interakt user, I have numerous benefits of it. Number one, I don't need to individually open charts. For example, at Anurag Agrawal, I can just see that the chart is marked as important, right? The label is important. Whereas this guy's Himadri's chart is marked as customer query. Now these are just examples, right? You can change your label basis the conversation that you're having with the customer. But yes, assigning labels helps you manage these conversations better. You can create new labels, you can clear an existing label. Of course, you can do all of that in the product, right? Uh, Now, coming back to my filter, uh, I can choose to find out a particular label. So let's say if I'm in one of these views, all you and unassigned, and you'll specifically see over here that when I'm inside you, I don't get to see whom the chat is assigned to because I'm already inside you, right? So that means that the chat is assigned to me. And then I can apply a filter saying that, okay, what kind of conversation label I'm looking for, apply it. If that label exists for that particular person, it will give me a result. If not, it will say no conversation exists for applied filters. And the third part is unassigned charts. Unassigned charts are basically those charts that have been uh, folks who have reached out to your customer, but there's no one from your team who's picked that conversation up and no one is currently responding to those. That's basically an unassigned chat. Okay. uh, for example, if someone reaches out to us and none of our agents respond to it, it will first be lying in an unassigned chat. Now, how does an agent pick it up? Well, the first way is first, he can just simply type it out. If I, let's say, type out and respond something to it and send the message, the chat will automatically be assigned to me. That's one way. The other way to do it is I can go over here, assign it to myself, or assign it to someone from my team from the list that I'm getting over here, right? So that's your unassigned queue. Again, in these, because it's already unassigned, I can check for whichever label that I want to search for. And when I'm in the all view, I can again look at all those filters. Now, coming to the center part of the product, on the center, of course, you see the username, you see whom it is assigned to. I just explained what closed chat, open chat is. And then you've got the composer area. Now, what you'd notice over here is, and this is quite important and very much, specific to WhatsApp, governed by WhatsApp, the fact that if a customer has not spoken to you in the last 24 hours, uh, you cannot send them a freewheeling message. And by freewheeling message, I mean you cannot just send a custom message where you just typed out anything. What you can do is only send pre-approved templates. I'll come to what those pre-approved templates are, but let's first establish this fact that if a customer has not spoken to you in the last 24 hours, for example, this guy has not, I'll not be able to send him a message. Especially, I can't send him a freewheeling message. I can still send him a message, but I'll have to choose one of the templates, which I'll cover what it is. Let's park it for now. What can I do now? One thing which I can do is, the other thing that I can do right now is add notes. So I'll say, test customer. Yeah. And then click on send. Like as the name suggests, these are just for internal reference. They never get sent out to the end customer. The idea here is you want to keep these notes for your own reference, sort of a summary, if you will, and whichever way you want to use it. I personally typically use it before I'm going to assign chat to anyone else. So let's say if I'm assigning this chat to some of my team member or any of my team member, I don't want him to go through this whole content of whatever I would have spoken and then understand what the issue is before he picks it up, right? So I'll put a note saying that, hey, this guy is interested in the pricing of the product. Can you pick it up? And that's it. So the guy knows that, okay, whatever is the conversation right now, it's all about pricing. So I don't, you can just go ahead. So there are a couple of ways you can do that. That's one way I use notes. Now, when are you able to send this freewheeling message? So let me open my WhatsApp right now and send a message over here, and you will see what happens. All right. I just sent a message, hello. And as soon as I sent this message, and please don't be confused by the time zone. I'm not in India right now, so that's why it says this. It picks up the local time zone and reflects that. So yeah, coming back to the question. So yeah, I wrote hello, and it greeted me with the welcome message. That's an automation that is already set up over here, and I've said that, thanks for reaching out, blah blah blah. Now, since the customer reached out to us, you'll see now the blocker is removed. Now I can type him anything I want to, or I can use these quick access smart cards so as to say that we have on the product. Now let's go over each one of these. Now I'll cover this one at last because this is the most latest one, and before we understand this, we'll have to understand and have a look at all the others. So the first one, of course, this one is quick reply. What quick replies does is, if you know that there are going to be repetitive questions that are being asked by your customers, then you use quick replies to answer them. So if I know that a customer will always ask questions, right? How does the pricing happen in the product? What is the WhatsApp process for starting with Interakt? Some basic stuff. What I'll do is I'll set up a quick reply so that I don't have to type it out all again and again, and I'll just use the quick reply and send it out. So for example, over here, one of the most prominent question that we get from our customers is, how do you get green tick verified on WhatsApp? So we have a quick reply for it. We've written a quick reply. There's a whole answer to it, and you just probably send that simply, and then we send a link over here to those folks on how do they use that. Second one is attachments. You can use attachments while talking to your customers. You can send documents, you can send images, videos, uh, all of that. Uh, there is just one thing that is to be noted, that right now, all the three things that I just spoke of, they are bilateral in nature, but only when, let's say, a customer is sending you a voice note, while you'll be able to receive it, you cannot send a voice note from Interakt as of today. The only reason that we didn't really find a business use case for it. Uh, Otherwise, we can always implement that. But yes, you'll be able to receive voice notes, number one. Number two, you'll also be able to receive locations. So if a customer is sending out a location, uh, you must have seen on WhatsApp that there is an option to send share and live location. So if a customer shares their current location, you'll be able to see that on Interakt and talk to them. The typical use case that we saw was a delivery, folks who are into delivery, folks who are into uh, primarily heavily dependent upon shipping and operations. Those guys use this feature a lot, which is getting locations from the customer and then sort of processing the orders. Uh, so that's about attachments. Templates, like I said, I'll come to that in a bit. And then you, of course, have emojis just to make your conversations more personalized while you're talking to your end customers, right? All right. Notes I just explained. Now, the third component of my inbox is the details. Now, these are the details that I get to see of the user, his name, his contact, his email ID, whether his WhatsApp opted in, yes or no. What are the tags that are present? These tags again, helps you manage your user better and helps you uh, specifically when you send out notifications and automated notifications or one-time notifications to folks, you can use these tags to play along and send them to your customer. You must have noticed, all of you, or if not all, I think all of you would have received a WhatsApp notification saying that, hey, the webinar starts in a few minutes. So what I basically did was I used a tag. I named the tag as 1st December webinar, and whosoever satisfied this tag, whosoever user satisfies this tag, I send them this webinar notification. So that's something that this tag helps in. We also have notes over here. Uh, and the difference between these notes and this notes is basically the way you use it. These notes, once you've written them, they kind of go above the conversation. So basically, if I would have written something over here, it starts showing up in the history and I have to scroll up and find it out. This one on the right hand side stays on the screen and stays there fixed. So typically the way people use it is they use this one for the conversation, the centerpiece one, and the rightmost one they use it for user related stuff. So they'll probably say that, hey, frequent buyer, or hey, this user always has a lot of questions, or hey, this user is on my free trial, stuff like that you can always ask. I In a minute back or so, I just explained about how you can close and open chats. This is where you see the conversation history. Closed chats, you can see them over here. The benefit of this is, again, if you remember about a conversation that you've had with a customer, but you don't want to scroll up to find out, hey, what that conversation was about, you can just go to conversation history. And for that particular session, when you opened and closed the chat, it will give you the text messages that were exchanged between you and the end customer. Okay. For some reason, let me just. Yeah, I'll just do a quick refresh. Just come back. Yeah, for folks who are raising their hand, guys, request you all to post your questions on Q&A section. Okay, there seems to be some problem with my internet. In the meanwhile, yeah, let me try. Yeah, I request guys, please post questions on Q&A. So yeah, that will really help. All right, let me try this out again. All right, I think it's pretty much an internet issue. Otherwise, it doesn't even take this much time. But yeah, I hope now you get it. So basically, the session that you had with the customer, which is from an opening to and closing a conversation, you can see all that conversation that has happened. So I can see that, okay, what my agent was saying, what the customer was saying, I can see all of that, on this conversation history. All right. Then after that, you have events, and then you have order history. Events is basically, what it does is, especially when you have integrations, especially when you have, you know, especially when you have integrations and when you're sending information from Interakt to another system, is when events get captured. Now, this could be in relation with a notification that is sent, which is whether you've sent out a campaign. This could be in terms of whether you're fetching details from a Shopify store, all of that. So mostly wherever you have integrations in place, your events would be captured. And these events would contain details as such as, for example, in case of notification sent, you'll be able to see what notification went out, what was the date, what was the channel, what was the template name, whether it got sent, whether the user read it, delivered, all of that, right? Just to give you a very detailed view of what is happening with the event that you created. And then the order history, again, depending upon whether you're connected with an e-commerce platform or not, such as Shopify, WooCommerce, the order history gets captured over here, where you would again be able to see order details such as what is the order name, what is the amount for it was ordered, were there any discount codes applied, what is the shipping tracking ID, what is the shipment link, what is the order confirmation, if there's an order COD happening, so what is the COD confirmation link, all of that. On Shopify, now just to stop over here and give you a very quick view of what we do on Shopify. Uh, so this, like I said, this is the Interakt app on Shopify App Store. Currently, we support use cases such as order placed, which is when an order gets placed on a Shopify store. Interakt captures those details. Interakt can send out notifications in lieu of the same order. And similarly, we've got order ship, we've got abandoned checkout, we've got order cancellation, and we've got COD confirmation. Now, these are the events, these are the use cases that we support as of today. And we're working on a few more uh, uh, as per the feedback that we received from clients and our users as of today. So do check this out as well. I'd request Akansha to share this link in the chat section. All right, now coming to the other modules. Now this is something that I was keeping, and I said that I'll cover it. Now this is templates, right? Now I spoke around 10 minutes back around how if a customer has not spoken to you in the past 24 hours, you cannot send a free message to them. Free, and by, to quote unquote, when I say free, what I mean is a free flowing message. You cannot just type out anything. I don't mean in terms of pricing, right? So you cannot just type out anything and send it to them. The only way you can still connect with someone who's not spoken to you in the past 24 hours is through a template. Templates are these certain prefixed messages that you can send. The only thing is that before you send these messages needs to be approved by WhatsApp. So the way it goes is, if you want to send a template to your customer, the first thing you want to do is figure out what kind of template you want to send and then get it approved by WhatsApp. So I'll show you guys an example. So for example, this is the template section. Here you get to see all the templates that we have ready with us on this account of ours as of today. You get to see what language they are in, whom it was created by within my team, what category it falls under, a quick preview of the same, whether it was approved or rejected by WhatsApp. So for example, here's one which is rejected by WhatsApp. It shows in the red, and the others are, approved. The reason why WhatsApp would disapprove of a template is primarily because one, so while WhatsApp does publish a set of guidelines that, hey, do all of this to ensure that your templates get approved. And Akansha will share that link of where they publish their guideline. We've written a couple of blogs on it. How do you get your templates approved? What are the tips and tricks? All of that is all written out there. We've created very short videos on it. Again, all of that will be shared on the chat for all of you to consume. But primarily, the most important reason that we've seen is when the customer conversations are not very personalized, is when WhatsApp tends to disapprove of these templates. So how do you go about, what is the basic mantra here? Ensure that the template that you're creating is personalized in nature. And when I say personalized, put username, put these details such as what the template contains, the order number, the order ID, things like that. Now let's see how do you do that. So I click on new template. I give it a name. Say I put test. I'll pick a category it falls under. We've got various categories from appointment update to reservation update, shipping update, etc. If you're not really sure which category your template falls under, just use alert update. Language. So yeah, just go ahead and use English. All right. So now within the template, a template is divided into three sections. You've got the header, the body, the footer, and the buttons. As the name suggests, header is basically something that comes at the top, in form of a heading of your message. It can be a text, it can be a media file as well, where you can have photos, videos, or even a document. And then you have the body where you can, write whatever you want. Now, I just spoke about how you make it personalized. So let's say if I have to write hi, what I'll probably be doing is click on add variable, where I'll be saying that, okay, this gets picked up automatically to the name of the person whom this message is sent to. And then I'll write something such as, we are delighted, uh, you know, offer you a discount of rupees, again, based on who the user is. If you want to keep a variable number of the discount, rupees so and so, on the offer code, again, add a variable, you availed with us yesterday. Now, in this message, whatever I've written right now, I've made it very personalized in terms of the kind of things that we are using while we are sending this message out, right? There are values that are picked up dynamically. There is name that is picked up dynamically. Once you've written your message, whatever you want to send, you can add a footer if you want to. You can even add buttons over here, which could be your, CTAs, phone number CTA. So probably have call us to know more. Probably put your phone number over here, right? So, and probably you can have another button where you say something else. Or instead of a phone number, you can play around and have a website that read about us. So the button reads read about us, and the URL is basically your website URL, which would be anything, right? So you can do all of this. Now, once you submit it, it goes to WhatsApp for approval. And then you go back, you see your list, whether it has been approved or not. You click on sync. Probably most of the times it takes around a minute or so for it to be, approved or taken into consideration by WhatsApp. If not, if it takes long, it will show yellow over here, and that means it has gone for a manual approval. Now, you must have noticed while I was sending the update, there was nowhere I said that, okay, one variable is pertaining to name and two variable is pertaining to something else, right? So let me show you where that is done. So let me go back to my inbox. Let me open up my own chat. And I'm going to now use a template to send to this particular person. All right. So I'm going to use, let's say, a thank you note. Probably send this message, right? Now, before I'm going to send this, this is where I get to define my variable, right? So I enter over here, name, and a fallback value, just in case if the name does not exist or the person has not entered his name while creating a WhatsApp account. And then there's another variable added over here. As a reminder, your free trial will come to end on, and it's going to pick up a date. Now, if this date will be picked up, if there is an end date to my free trial for my account, if not, it will use the fallback value. I can also play along and say, write an fallback value over here. So I'll say, let's say 9th December. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is see preview and send this message to myself. Yeah. So how does it look like? I open my WhatsApp. And this is the message that I've got. See, hi Himadri Joshi. It picked up dynamically. It says 9 December because I explicitly said that I want the fallback value to be picked up. And then I had these two buttons where it said avail offer, need more help. And this is something that you play along with when a template gets sent. So this is how you use templates in the product. You can send this to customers who've not spoken to you in the past 24 hours and do like that. There are other sections in the product such as notifications, very important. Now, these are basically automated messages that you want to send to people either as one time or in relation with something that has happened. This is where the bifurcation of one time and ongoing exists. So ongoing notifications are basically events that are recurring in nature, and you want the notification to be sent out every time that happens. A person signs up on a website, you want to send him a notification, you do that as part of ongoing. A person has bought something from your website, you want to send them a notification. Every time they do that, you set it up in ongoing, right? So these are just some examples of how you do it. One time is a notification that you send one time to your users, only once. It's a one-time event. An example of this is the webinar notification that I sent all of you. So a minute ago you must have received that. So let's send a new notification to all of you and see how that works. All right. Now, the first step in sending notification is entering the name. So I'll say introduction. This is the name I want to give it. Audience, I'm going to send a one-time notification. So I'll put a filter over here. My filter is going to be folks who are attending this webinar. I don't want to send it to everyone, right? Just the ones who are right now in our webinar today. So I'll put webinar 1st December as my filter. Click on done. Okay, this is the wrong filter. Let me... Yeah. Yes. So we've got all of these folks who are attending the webinar right now on this call. Some of you would have not attended, but yeah, most of the guys are over here. Create your message. Now, what kind of notification can I send? I can only send pre-approved templates, right? Because that is what WhatsApp says. Most of these guys would be guys who have not reached out to us in the past 24 hours as well, right? So one, if you want to reach out to someone in the past 24 hours that you've not spoken to, you use templates. Second, if you want to send out a bulk notification or an automated notification to your customers, informing them about anything, that message also needs to be approved by WhatsApp. And it's very simple, but yes, it needs to be approved. So I'm going to use a template over here. I'll say, so these are all my different templates with respect to, let's say, webinar. So I'll use webinar welcome. So it will say, hi, hope you're enjoying our webinar. In case you're unable to join, no worries. I'll choose template. In this template, the only variable I have is of name. So I'll say username. And if the name does not exist, just say hi there. Schedule a message. I'll do immediately. I don't want to add anything else to it. I'll come to the fourth point in a while. This is something that is very introduced, very latest, but just give me a moment. I'll come to that. Then I'll click on send and set live. All right. So this notification just went out. You can please comment on the chat section if all of you would have received it, or if you've not received it, just put it over there. I can also see the stats with respect to my notification. So it's right now sent to 10 folks, not delivered to any. Let me refresh my stats. Okay, so it's sent to 48, it's delivered to 5. And this, of course, eventually it will be sent to everyone who was showing up with respect to this tag, right? And I can always see these tags and figure out, okay, whom are the folks who've replied, and most importantly, whom are the folks who it has failed. So campaign stats give you that kind of visibility. So this is what your campaigns and notifications is used for. Again, in the product, in relation with stats, there is also a very high level of analytics that is present. You can see how many conversations your customers have had with your agents, how many your agents have responded to, how many are resolved by them, how quickly they are resolved, how much time are they taking, what is the resolution time, what is the first response time. All of that data and segmentation of that data with respect to agent is also visible on the product. Okay, and you can of course export all of this data to whichever format you want to, and you can also decide the range of when you want to export this data. Another section in the product is the all users section, which basically allows you to manage the users. Who's a user? Whose user is an end customer who's speaking to you on your WhatsApp number. That is something that you can do very easily over here. You can upload new users. You can upload them by doing a bulk contact, add them individually, add them via APIs. In this list, you can play along with filters and see, and basically refine this list the way you want to see it. Is again something that you can do. There are other things as well in the product. You can, in the settings page, you can play along with the permissions you allow, who's allowed what to see in the product, whether you get the full view or not, whether you get to see the inbox. So in the first half of my session, I showed you how all you and unassigned works. Let's say I don't want some of my agent to see the all chats, right? So those kind of settings, those kind of permissions is something you can change from your access permissions and play along with what the Interakt user gets to see on the product. There's automation also present as of today, where you can set up your out of office message according to your working hours. You can set up a welcome message. You can set up a delay response message in case your agents are taking too much time to respond to a customer conversation. You can send a delay message. It goes out. It would basically say something like that: hey, apologies for the delay. We are facing with a high volume issue. We will reach out to you, etc., etc. Right? So you can do that, those kind of automations also in the product. uh, there are API docs available of the product, so if you want to consume them, and you can definitely do that basis your use cases. And then of course you have the widgets on your website, where if you, let's say, want to have the widget on a website, on your website, where people click on it and start having conversations with this particular number of yours and starting to reach out, they can do that. Now, with all of this covered, there is one particular thing that I kept on skipping through the slides, to the presentation of mine on the product, which is this part, which is I skipped the list messages, I skipped the product catalog message and the collection message and all of that. So what is this really, right? Now, this is something which is very recently introduced on WhatsApp, and we're in fact the first movers. I think the only product in the market which right now is offering this, which is, as a business, if you have your catalog set up on Facebook, you can leverage those catalog messages and start sending them out on WhatsApp via Interakt. What that basically means is you can send out your product catalog, customers will be able to view catalog and then reply back post doing their selection. So it will be something like this. You can set up this message. Customer clicks on view collections. He gets to see what all products you have within the collections. He gets to see your multi-product list. Okay, what products he wants. He gets to see the product details, and then he can select and tell you, okay, this is the product that I want, and then you can take it forward. So as of today, this is half part of the journey that we've covered. What we want to cover in the future is, of course, do the whole cycle of someone doing this catalog selection and eventually doing the purchase on WhatsApp itself. But yes, we've covered this part, and I think around 10 to 15 customers of ours are currently using this feature, this very recently launched feature. So in relation with this is what your list messages and your product collection messages are set up over here, where you can set them up. Let's say if I'm talking to a particular customer and he's asked a question, and this question is basically around my catalog or my product messages, I can just set up my product collection list messages over here and send it to him. It's not been set up for this account. Like I said, it's very new. We just launched this like a week ago, and we've already had around 10-11 customers using it. But yeah, that's kind of gist of it. Two places you can ask us any questions. Of course, on the chat, we'll continue this webinar right now. I'll be addressing each and every question that is asked in Q&A. The other place is you can go ahead and scan this or reach out to us on our WhatsApp number, which is 70215-12345, and ask questions over there as well. And our team of experts will help you answer those questions.